Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the D Street. With me is Shail Bhatnagar and we are also joined by our special guest on the show. Ruchit Jain is with us. He's the lead research analyst at 5paisa. We will come to him very shortly. But first up, a quick check on how the markets have been doing. They've rebounded pretty smartly in the latter half of trading session. The Nifty has recovered about 200 points from the day's low. It's right now about 45 points higher, 21,786 being seen right now. A 0.8% of an improvement on the Nifty Bank, 45,889 currently being seen, is the PSU banking space that's been roaring very, very smartly. So 2.9% higher for this one, the top moving sectoral index, followed by the oil and gas space. That's also seen the gas names, the upstream companies, even the oil marketing companies, all of them up and about in trade. 2.9% higher for this one as well. Metal space follows along with it. It's the broader markets that have also recovered from the day's low at this point in time. The top movers on the Nifty include names such as BPCL, that's now up 7%, State Bank of India, Oil and Natural Gas, Coal India, Tata Steel, Bajaj Auto. These are the top 5 names as far as the Nifty movers are concerned. On the downside, however, you have Tech Mahindra, Infosys, Cipla, Sun Pharma, SBI Life Insurance, Dr. Reddy's. These are the counters that are dragging at this point in time. So the IT and pharma stocks are slightly softer at this point. But in the F&O space, the stocks that we had marked out early in the morning as well, Nalco steals the show, 11% higher in trade. Shail, looks like again it's a repeat of yesterday. We are making a bounce back in the markets and the dips are being bought into again.
Absolutely, Sakshi, and nothing gladdens my heart to see a green color work so wonderfully well on the screen. And we've had a very, very phenomenal day today. Look at how things have panned out as far as the PSU trades are concerned. And we'll just mention a couple of stocks that we have been tracking in particular since the last 2 trading sessions. I'd just like to point out how stocks have hit circuit levels. And these are the ones that we've been discussing over the last 2 odd days. HUDCO, 10% up circuit, 198. And the interesting part here is, Sakshi, that if you look at how the day's low has worked out on HUDCO, so you see bottom up buying, you see bottom down buying, and that's how the momentum is at the moment on the Lal Street. 174.20 is the day's low on HUDCO. And I'll give you the most interesting data that I've seen in a very, very long while. I was looking at the top 20 traded counters on the National Stock Exchange, Sakshi. And would you believe it, that out of the top 20 traded counters, 16 of them are PSU stocks, and all 16 are in the green. And the one that is in the red in terms of pricing is HDFC Bank, a bit worrisome there, 1% lower, 1380 for you. And we are going to watch out the FII number today. That's going to be huge. So this 1% cut in HDFC Bank has to be understood in 2 formats. The Nifty is up now 60 points. So it's negating a huge fall as far as HDFC Bank is concerned. 2, the FII number has to be watched out for today. And 3, that the rally in the PSU is back in action, and both the Nifty PSE index, the CPSE index, and the Nifty PSU banking index are the 2 top gainers in front of us. The Nifty oil index is 3% higher, the PSE index is 2.8% higher, and the PSU banking index actually is 3% higher. So the low ticket, high beta trade working very well in the markets.
Absolutely. Let's welcome Ruchit then in the conversation. Ruchit, good afternoon and good to have you with us on Business Today TV. Smart recovery in markets, where exactly is your focus currently, and any particular top stocks that you're watching out?
Very good afternoon, Sakshi. Very good afternoon, Shel sir. If you look at today's action, then clearly the declines are getting bought into. What we have seen in last few weeks that the markets have went through a corrective phase, but this has been more of a time-wise correction where 21,900 to 22,000 has acted as a resistance. But on the lower side, the 40 days exponential moving average, which was around 21,500 now, has still not yet been broken. So this clearly indicates that this clearly indicates that the corrective phases which which are going through in the markets are more of a time-wise correction in which the index consolidates in a range. But no, until we see any breakdown below the 21,500, I think the price-wise corrections should not be anticipated because if you look at the market breadth, then the overall market breadth is quite strong enough. So definitely a good stock-specific approach could be a good idea, for short-term traders. And if you look at stock-specific moves, then PSU banks, no one can take the eyes off them. The kind of moment that we have seen today, especially from the heavyweight SBI, which has given a breakout from a bullish flag pattern and has shown a signs of continuation of this movement. I think PSU would be the space which could continue to do well. SBI could head higher towards 760 in next one or two trading sessions, 760, 762. This can do that level. And even within other PSU names, I think OMCs have been doing quite well. So HP likes like HPCL, BPCL, I think that's where the momentum could continue in the short term.
Sakshi, no surprises there. Look at the OMCs. When you look at the entire FNO space, the top 3 slots are belonging to the PSU stocks, and 2 out of 3 are HPCL 7% higher, actually 7.6% higher, with the open interest at the moment rising about 7.5%. BPCL at 629 is again higher by 7.3%. And the open interest is about 10.8% higher. So very, very strong momentum coming in. And the more you think of banks, as Ruchit ji very rightly mentioned, यहाँ से तो नज़र ही नहीं उठ रही. 12 के 12 stocks in the Nifty PSU banking sector are in the green, led by the king itself, the Emperor, State Bank of India, fresh record high there, and the blowout on that price continues dramatically. So this is how the momentum is. Let's quiz Ruchit on PSU banking stocks. Ruchit ji, anything apart from SBI that catches your fancy?
So I think within the other PSU names, Canara Bank is also looking quite positive. We have seen last 4 or 5 trading sessions, the stock has shown some consolidation. But this also looks just to be a time-wise correction within an uptrend. 540 is a very strong support base for the stock. Today the stock didn't breach there, so possibility of a continuation of the uptrend could be there in the Canara Bank, and this stock could head high towards 600 kind of levels in the near term. So one can look for buying opportunities there with stop loss below 540 for potential targets around 600. And even if you look at other PSU banking space, Indian Bank is another stock which had done quite well in the recent PSU up move. The stock gave a breakout around that 480 levels, went higher up to 560, again showed some pullback move in last 4 or 5 trading sessions. That earlier resistance of 480 has now acted as a support. Today's low, if you see, it's right around that 485 mark. So I think this is just a retest of that breakout zone which we have seen. So if the PSU banks do well, then I think Indian Bank would be another stock which can show a good outperformance.
Okay. Let's focus on a few FNO movers then. Ruchit, Nalco, 10.5% higher in trade, of course, after a fantastic set of numbers. This was the first stock that I had checked in the morning as well, and it's really shot up smartly. How would you look at the move here, and should this be chased? 156.9 for you on Nalco?
I think yes, if one is looking for some positional trading, then certainly the broader structure still remains very strong. Price up moves supported by good volumes, any kind of declines, no high volume sell-off seen over there. So today we have clearly seen that even in the morning when the markets were had opened negative, this was one of the stock which has seen a positive momentum right from the opening. So the stock has very strong support base in 135 to 140. Until that is intact, I think one can expect a slow and gradual up move back towards 175 to 180.
Okay. Anything else that strikes you from the metals pack? We are also looking at the other stocks now moving up in trade along with Nalco in the metal space. Of course, a whole host of winners right here. So Hindustan Copper is up again, and this is despite slightly softer earnings that we had seen. SAIL, NMDC, Vedanta, Jindal Steel. The entire space is in momentum currently. Which other stock would you be looking at?
Steel could be one name which could do well. So couple of things are there. One if the entire metal space does well, then I think this is one stock which which is already trading around its support. Stock has already corrected from 148 to 115. Secondly, the PSU also has been a theme. So a combination of this metals plus PSU being a PSU name. So I think that could get a good buying interest in Steel Authority. So one can expect higher targets around 135 to 140 again in the stock. So I think since the stock has already seen a good price-wise correction, so I think the downside seems to be quite limited here too. So 115 is a good support base for the stock. Keeping a stop below that, positional traders can look for buying opportunities in Steel Authority as well.
Sakshi, I think we'll also have to appreciate the bounce that we are seeing on the Nifty Bank. Remember, today is the weekly expiry of this particular index, and it's been a fantastic rally, if I may use the word, and this is when 33% of Nifty Bank is in the red, which is HDFC Bank. So if you look at the high and low of today, the low is 44,870 and the high is 46,164. So that's clearly 230 plus 1,000 plus 164. So about a 1,400 point uptick from the day's low, and we are still about 45 minutes away from the end of close today. So a very fantastic move that's coming in. I wish we were able to show you the candlestick chart of today's performance. It's an engulfing one, which basically means that the size of the candle is so huge that the previous 4 or 5 trading sessions are a part of that particular move. Let's get Ruchit's view in. Sir, what would you think of Bank Nifty today? Is the worst over? We are now taking very strong support from 200 DMA.
Yes, a couple of things are there. One is 200 DMA support, and secondly, after a long period of time, Bank Nifty's RSI oscillator has given a positive crossover. So, which indicates the momentum might come back again in the banking index, and we might see a move to fill that recent gap area. If you look at the daily chart on 17th of January, we had witnessed a huge gap down opening where that gap was left unfilled around 47,200, still about 1,200 points away from here. So since the PSU banks are performing well, although weightage of PSU banks is not that higher except SBI, but even if you look at the private sector banks, then HDFC Bank is trading a bit around its support. Then even ICICI Bank has managed to form, ICICI and Axis Bank has managed to form a good support base around their respective moving averages. So I think even if you get some bit of support from this private sector heavyweights, then I think this index could come to fill that gap area, which is around 47,200. So in case if the markets have to go higher from current levels, then I think banking could take the leadership again.
All right, so the banking counters could be taking leadership again. Let's look at a few buzzers at this point in time, all those stocks that are buzzing in trade in the broader markets per se. Ahluwalia Contracts, that's up by 9% odd in trade today. LG Equipments, 8.5% higher at 665 in trade. Another stock, SJVN is back up in trade. Of course, this was gaining 6% higher in the opening trade, and now it's up about 8%. Then you're also looking at Nuvama Wealth Managers, about 12.5% higher in trade. You also have stocks like Indian Hume Pipes, that's actually got an order also in trade today. That's up by about 12.5% in trade. I think it's about a 495 odd crore rupees of an order for this company. Do you track Indian Hume Pipes, Ruchit? And can you tell us what your sense is on this stock?
It's a 1 day of up move, but I think the follow-up moves needs to be seen, because if you look at last 4 or 5 months, whenever the stock has come towards that 270, 280, that range has acted as a resistance and the stock has not surpassed that hurdle. So I think based on news flows, many times we see a 1 day's up move, but no, in case if there is no follow-up move, then I think the stock would go range bound again. So I would wait to see how the stock shows a follow-up move in tomorrow's trading session. Maybe if a good price volume breakout happens above 280, then that could be a good opportunity where momentum could expect it to continue.
Okay, so that's as far as Indian Pipes is concerned. A
It's
lot of
actually a
other
lot of
buzzers.
interesting stocks.
Yes, Shell, please go ahead.
Yes, actually. Yours.
Okay, a lot of other buzzers also that I was spotting, Shell. Jyoti Laboratories, for example, that's up by about 14.3%. Dilip Buildcon, that's another stock that I can spot. That's about double digits higher in trade, about 10% up in trade as well. You know, some of the broader market stocks are actually really buzzing very, very smartly. Nuvama Wealth Management, after the quarterly earnings, that's up by 9%. The company said its net profit has almost doubled from the December quarter. Those are some of the stocks that I am looking at. Rujit, anything interesting in this in these names that I've said that look promising on the charts? Dilip Buildcon is 15% higher right now.
Yes, Delhi Bilcon has is on the verge of a breakout. In fact, it has given a breakout above its previous swing high, that too with good volumes. And last 1.5 months, the stock was consolidating above its 100 EMA support itself. So I think this is one stock which has good potential to show a follow-up move, and around 480, 490 could be expected. So one can look for fresh buying positions over here and add if we get any kind of declines towards that 420 mark. So stop loss should be below 400 for potential targets of 480 to 500.
It's actually lots of enthusiasm across the market. Actually, let's do this. Let's look at the advanced decline ratio. Fairly substantial, and this is a good point to make at about 2:52 p.m. that at the fag end of the market for this day, the advanced decline ratio is 1436 stocks to 810, which are in the red. So dramatically improvement in sentiment, and this is borne across the board. We track 19 indices for you, of which 16 are in the green, of course, led by the banks, the Nifties, and both the private and the public sector banks, except for HDFC Bank, where the pain point continues. You haven't seen this kind of a price on HDFC Bank for now close to 2 years. And Sakshi, there's no stopping the Nifty. Days high now. In fact, it's galloping. It's crossed 21,800 when you look at the options chart in cash. So it's 21,824, 82 points higher. And towards the futures, it's headed at 21,890, about 64 points higher. Everybody has contributed. Let's look at the pullers and draggers on the index. That will give you an idea as to how this percentage change is working. So State Bank of India record high, contributing the maximum 32 points to this 80-point uptick. Reliance contributing 24 points, ICICI Bank contributing 24 points, Axis bringing in 14, and BPCL responsible for 10 points in the green as far as the Nifty is concerned. Pain points, well, not many. Infosys and TCS, they are also contributing about 24 and 13 points in the red as far as the Nifty is concerned, and Sun Pharma and Tech Mahindra 5 points each. What's really interesting is to watch the advanced decline ratio on the Nifty index. It's 29:21, so that's fairly good. And if you look at the NSE 500, that's up 0.5%, and 300 stocks are in the green, 200 are in the red. Absolutely blowout performances. While we are looking at the good parts of the market, all the more reason to mark the record highs today within the NSE 500. How many Sarkari companies are there? Sakshi, let me check. MRPL 208.85, 14% higher. HPCL 539, 7.5% higher. State Bank of India 746, 4.5% higher. Okay, these are the ones that are from the government pack. Then you of course have Maruti, Bajaj Auto. From the auto space, you have Reliance, and Apollo Hospitals. So a fairly diverse set of companies is gaining ground, and that's also good news for the market, Sakshi.
Absolutely. One more company that's coming on my chart is KPI Green. The Q3 numbers have come in. The net profit has jumped 46.7% at 50.6 crores, and this has led the stock soaring to a 5% upper circuit to 2007 now. And EBITDA has improved 77.6% at 103 crores. How would you look at KPI Green Energy amid earnings, Ruchit, and tell us in case anything you look at the charts which you can share with our viewers?
So we have seen that the stock has already seen a decent up move since the month of November, and broadly, although the mid to long term trend still remains intact, but in the shorter term, some sort of volatility could be expected. Now, last trading session, the couple of trading sessions, the stock was at lower circuit. Today again, 5% upper circuit. The 40-day EMA is around 1670. So the broader trend remains positive till about 1670 to 1700 mark. So I would say that if any existing long positions are there, then I think they should continue to ride this trend.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, what we'll do, Ruchit, is thank you at this note and for sharing all these insights with us and being with us onto this special edition.
Thank you.
And we'll get back in conversation with you pretty soon on the market today. Viewers, what we'll do is we'll take a very quick break right here. It's closer to 3 p.m. and the last half an hour of trade will quickly start. We will get back and our other guest will also be joining us very, very soon. So stay with us and we will be talking about all the other stocks, including IREDA, and that's finally opening up after 6 lower circuits that you have seen consecutively. Today morning also we saw the lower circuit on this one again, a 5% lower circuit. It did touch a low of I think around 142 odd levels, and after that this circuit has opened finally as a breather for all the IREDA investors. We will talk about this stock when we open up.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe from multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
Celebrate 32 years of leadership in business news with Business Today. From the groundbreaking AI cover of Sundar Pichai to PM Modi's exclusive on G20, we redefine headlines. Now our 32nd anniversary issue explores India 2029, the 5-year agenda with industry titans sharing exclusive insights. So, just BT it for unparalleled perspectives. Business Today. 32 years of leadership, innovation, and business brilliance. Subscribe now. In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Welcome back. You're watching Market Today on Business Today television. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shel Bhatnagar, and also joining us is another guest with us. Mr. G. Chokalingam joins in, founder and MD at Economics Research, now joining in. Mr. Chokalingam, good afternoon to you and good to have you with us. You know, just before you joined in and before going into the break, we were talking about IREDA. You know, this stock has been so much in demand among investors right from the time it got listed and gave listing gains of 56%. Up until now, 200% of a surge came in, and thereafter a pain of consecutive lower circuits began. 6 lower circuits, and finally we can see IREDA shares open up after those circuits. Do you track this company? How would you really advise investors to know move about?
Yeah, definitely. I looked at the fundamentals. It's a great opportunity to sell and conserve the wealth because it trades around the 32 PE. Again, I am very nervous on many such small and mid cap stocks. Only one thing I want to mention that, the new investors may not look at the valuation. The valuation multiple may not be, limited. It may be unlimited in the market, but definitely, ultimately, the liquidity available for the market is limited. So therefore, one has to draw a boundary line up to what level you can compromise on the valuation. So I believe this is beyond that comfortable level, 32 PE. So therefore, it's a good opportunity to sell and create a wealth in real terms.
Okay, Sakshi, just a point I'd like to make on IREDA. Remember, this was 6 successive circuits lower. It started at about 214.80 on 6th of February, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 lower circuits. Today also, it was at a low when it comes to the 5% lower circuit at about 154. And the circuit has opened. Remember, what is a 5% low is also a 5% high in terms of the circuit limit. My understanding is that you'll see circuit on the higher side. Now all we are doing is marking price, and this is probably the final stock that you had to look at when it comes to reversal of sentiment. Let's see how it moves. This is also accompanied by a very sharp rise in volume, somewhere like before the break, how should I say, the volume was 414 crores, and a span of 2 minutes the volume is 717 crores. So that is how buying is coming in, and yes, it is at circuit. Sakshi.
Absolutely. So that's as far as IREDA is concerned. But Mr. Chokalingam, a lot of moving parts in this market, and there is no stopping, no let up in the PSU banking rally that we are looking at. Of course, there were a few dips in the entire PSU basket, but this is the fastest pace to recover at this point. And of course, all the stocks that were also not participating over the last 6 months have started to again perform, taking the front row now, with including SBI now. How would you look at the PSU banking space? Any particular stocks that still look positive to you, sir?
Only stock we have a buy rating is State Bank of India in the PSU pack, which is doing well, and I would continue to prefer State Bank of India because all other mid-sized PSU banks, they have rallied. If you take a 2-year time frame, they have rallied even as much as 5 times. If you take a bank like Indian Bank or Bank of Maharashtra, they rallied even 400-500% from the bottom. Not just because they are rallied, it's also fact that most of these banks are now trading at close to 2 times price to book value. And historically, in a bear market, they used to trade at 0.5 times price to adjusted book value. Even in the bullish market, they used to trade maximum at 1.5 times. Now they have gone much beyond this, historical valuation comfort zone. So yes, if for any long-term investor, one can still hold if it doesn't mind 15-20% correction. But otherwise, if somebody wants to enter, it is better to enter stock like SBI rather than entering other mid-sized PSU banks.
Okay, let's Sakshi shift focus to the parts that are again moving. I'd like to point BEML. This is a stock to watch, and this is more important in the sense that till about 3-4 days ago, actually 5 days ago, BEML was trading at a price of 4,116. If you ignore today's move at 3,053, the counter has corrected 4 plus 4, 8 days of fall, and is now the top traded, the top valued counter in terms of volume and price on the defense space, Sakshi. This is also something that we need to look at. Let's get Mr. Chokalingam's view. Sir, what is the view that you hold on BEML?
I'm sorry, I would be very boring for investors, particularly retail investors, because I have a contra view, after having tracked all these stocks for the last 30 years and having seen many times, not just once or twice, more than 3-4 times, I have seen the pain also after investing in the bull market in such PSUs. The stock has more than tripled from the bottom, and it is trading at around 62 PE. I'm sorry, that on a technical ground, these kind of stocks may go up because even last week, 12 lakh new investors have entered the market, and today the investor base has crossed 16 crore, and 90% of the new investors are very young investors. In fact, personally, I have interacted. Many don't look at book value, price to book value, or P multiple. They'll start liking it if anything keeps moving up. But invariably, that's what happens in all the bull markets. They keep moving up as long as the appetite is there. But ultimately, as I said, you have to draw a line on the fundamental basis also to avoid a wealth destruction. I won't be comfortable to recommend this stock at this level because it is trading at around 62 PE and it has multiplied phenomenally in the last 1 year.
Right. Mr. Chokalingam, the point perhaps the market is also trying to make is the kind of re-rating that these stocks have had. And both you and I know that markets can be irrational longer than we can be solvent. Leave that discussion there, but tell us a couple of stocks apart from the two banks that you mentioned, which you may want to buy based on the valuations that you find correct.
I've been suggesting through formal research note my clients that have at least 50-60% for the large cap, only 30-40% for small and mid cap. Even in our research coverage, we are restricting to only 30% of the coverage is on small and mid cap, because as I mentioned, they have beaten the Sensex and Nifty by big margin, and the trailing PE also huge for the small and mid cap. And 383 lakh crore market cap, even 1% comes up for selling, there won't be any pressure. In fact, couple of days we saw how the small and mid cap fell, even 10-15%, huge number. But again, I am not saying that you zero it. Since you asked, I can share. I am personally suggesting our clients through our research note to buy stocks like ELPRO, ELPRO, ELPRO International, because I always find a margin of safety in such a bull market. I don't want to pay overprice. This ELPRO has two vertical. One is a real estate in Pune, and it also has got a huge investment book of more than 1,000 crore. And I know that the management is good, and I believe in them. This is one stock I believe one can buy quite safely. And second, Indoco Remedies. Today it has spurted, but still it has not participated in this rally. This is another good small cap stock, Indoco Remedies. They have got 50% of the business from domestic branded formulation. So if I apply 3 to 4 times valuation, that is a norm for many domestic branded companies, this stock provides very significant upside. Third one, where I have also personally invested, and I believe that it is a next generation stock, which is Nesco. It has come out with the results yesterday, very impressive results. It has got a huge land bank. It has got IT corporate park and exhibition business. What I like the most is that one, management capability. Last 10 years, they have increased the capex substantially, but still simultaneously they have increased the free cash position, which is now around 1,300 crore. And in my estimate, they still have about 30 acres of surplus land in Goregaon, Mumbai, and that kind of land bank can be used to develop in a big way IT corporate park or commercial complexes or even residential complexes, and it is well connected by metro. So this is the one stock, even personally, I have invested quite aggressively, and I believe in this story. Fourth idea, Craftsman. It has corrected almost 20-25% from the P. Excellent management. Slight weakening of earning growth has punished the stock, and I like this stock very much. These are the 4 stocks we have a coverage in the small and mid cap space, and I have 100% confidence in them.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. So you've shared 4 stocks with us: Indoco, Elpro, Nesco, and Craftsman Automation. These are the 4 stocks from the mid and the small cap basket that investors can definitely focus on as well. We will keep an eye out on all of these stocks, sir. But one more stock that I wanted to discuss with you, which I have discussed with you in the past, is Reliance Industries. Timely to discuss this stock again. It's at record high level. It achieved a 20 lakh crore rupees market cap, the first Indian company to achieve so. I remember the last time I was speaking to you, you had very positive vision on RIL, and you did say that this is one company that would emerge as a mini economy in India as well. At 2963, how do you look at Reliance Industries? For fresh investors who've still not had this stock in their portfolio, what would you advise?
Yeah, thank you, and also I appreciate that you remembering the conceptual explanation on the stock. Really quite interesting to know that. I believe in the story. I continue to maintain the same story. Reliance is maybe perhaps the best Sensex index stock in my view, personal view. In fact, I don't have any position in the stock, nor my company. But we have recommended even 2 years back, saying that it is going to emerge as a mini economy. The way they built the telecom and retail gives enormous confidence. And second, the way they are acquiring FMCG brands at the throwaway prices, very well established, but failed in the business, but not as a brand name. There are so many small brands they have bought out, including the latest Ravalgan chocolate. So all these brands, the owners did not have money, but they had a fantastic brands. So this is the best intellectual capability of Ambani's. That is what I like them, and I believe the stock is worth doubling from my initiating price of 2400. So which includes that time Jio. So if I add Jio around 320, it's about 3200. I still believe that in 3 to 4 years, this stock adjusted for Jio at a price of 3200 can go to 5000. That is my confidence, because the way they are building energy business, and they are getting into even hospitality. So all this will play out in a very big way. I believe this is the safest stock in the Sensex and Nifty categories.
Yes, and it's very well explained by Mr. Chokalingam on the beauty that Reliance offers to long-term investors. You have 2 world-class businesses sitting within this petrochemicals giant, actually 3. One of them is telecom, the other is retail, and the third one is the green energy initiative that is lying within the petrochemical space. That in itself is most likely to dwarf what Reliance has done over the last 10 years in terms of top line and bottom line. And of course, till about 6 months ago, Geofin was a part of Reliance. It was spun out. So if you add back the 272 rupees that Geofin is trading at today, you will get a price of somewhere like 3200, 3300 already on RIL. Very well point taken, Mr. Chokalingam, and wonderfully explained by you. Geofin is now trading about 273 rupees 65, up 0.33%, and we have a fairly decent views coming on to again stocks in the PSU basket. SGV and Sakshi, I like to mark 122.35, 13% higher, and we have a volume of 1684 crores on SGVN, which is higher than the 5-day average. So sentiment returning on the Lal Street as far as PSU stocks are concerned. And I'd also like to point out one brokerage report which has come from Jefferies, which has talked about re-rating of several PSUs from even the current levels, primarily among them the energy giants NTPC Coal India Power Grid, as also oil marketing companies BPCL, HPCL and IOC, as also ONGC and Oil India, and a couple more. So they are focusing on the super large cap of the PSU basket, and their top picks are NTPC and Coal India, Sakshi, and also SBI.
Right. Shell, you were right on IREDA. We've seen an upper circuit again on this one. 5% upper circuit on IREDA now. This is following a 2.9 crore shares worth of equity changing hands at around 160 rupees. And there you have it, 170.25 back on IREDA, just like how Shell was anticipating that could happen. So just wanted to mark out that stock for you. Let's look at some of the other stocks that are at day's high. So Coal India, about 3%, it's at the day's high at 465 odd levels. Then you also have Axis Bank, that's moved to a day's high. Tata Steel 2.5% higher, 141 is at a day's high as well. These are some of the stocks that are moving up now in the second leg of the move. Remember, the Sensex is 1,000 points recovered from the day's low, and the Nifty is up about 300 points from the day's low as well. A strong move coming in on both the major indices, of course led by the oil and gas space, that's 3% higher. PSU banks, that's 3% up. Metals, broader markets, the Nifty bank, all moving up in trade, all the cylinders coming back into firing mode as well. Oil and gas space to you, for you, Mr. Jokalingam, the way we are seeing the momentum build up again after some gap, especially OMCs, how would you really look at BPCL, IOC, vis-a-vis the upstream giants like Oil India and ONGC?
Yeah, one can hold on to stock like ONGC and IOC. Definitely because of the political tensions happening across the world, oil price is quite strong, and in fact from the bottom it has recovered more than 13% in the last couple of months. So that would be positive for these two stocks. So among all, I would prefer ONGC and IOC.
Okay. So that's as far as the oil and gas space is concerned and the momentum over there. Let's look at further some of the pockets that are moving up. Let's look at the big heavyweight movers. We're now looking at the auto space now. Bajaj Auto, that came up above 8,000 levels today for the first time. 8,088 could be seen here. Maruti Suzuki is coming up. You have Hero Moto, Tata Power, Eicher Motors. These are some of the automakers that are coming back in flavor after some time. Mr. Jokalingam, how are you looking at this auto space right now? Is this a momentum that one should chase, because the space has been volatile of late?
One can stay invested in Maruti, and even one can buy Maruti. That's the one stock I am extremely bullish among all auto majors. That is based on the fact that Maruti has been facing problem in the small car, but with SUVs and many more models they introduced, they have been growing fastest in the SUV segment, and very soon the way they are growing in SUV, avoid the drop.
Sakshi, I think we'll have to mark Maruti in a different fashion. There's a digit change, 11,000.
Wow.
11,044. Needless to say, this is a record high, and there is also a digit change on Bajaj Auto, which is now above the 8,000 rupee mark. So two auto stocks, a two-wheeler and a four-wheeler, one a leader in margin, the other a leader in volumes, both of them showing exemplary moves today. And when you see how they are stacked in terms of the open interest, let me just get that value for you. OI volume, okay. Maruti open interest at the moment is up 10%. Wow. Bajaj Auto, the open interest is also dramatically higher. Maruti open interest is 4.8% higher, and in Bajaj Auto it's 6.1% higher. And Sakshi, Bosch is also at a record high, 27 22,275. So 3 spaces within the auto segment, 4-wheeler, 2-wheeler leaders, as also the auto ancillary giant at fresh record highs. Sakshi.
That's wonderfully put, Shell. We will continue to keep an eye out on all these automakers as well. Right. Mr. Chokalingam, you were talking about Maruti Suzuki as that could be held on. From the auto ancillary pack, are you looking at any pocket positively? We've seen a strong momentum in the EV related stocks like say an Electra Green Tech or a JBM Auto. Is that still a space that one should go after? Should one really look at the traditional auto part makers at this point in time?
In fact, we already booked profit. I mean, we gave sell call in our coverage on many auto ancillaries. So at current level, we are not comfortable. Maybe if somebody wants to still invest, they can look at tire stocks like Apollo Tire or for that matter, TVS Sri Chakra Tire. Because this tire segment doesn't have any threat from EV, as EV vehicle also needs, the tire. And so there is a, in some pockets of automobile you have degrowth like a tractor, small car, but that is more than compensated by growth in other segments like EVs and 2-wheelers, for that matter, even in SUVs. So therefore, overall, the demand for tire from the OEM is robust. And secondly, stock market, real estate market, even the gold, every segment of asset class created a lot of wealth for the investors. So they are in a better position to go for replacement of their existing tires. And in the country, the replacement market accounts for almost 3/4 of the total sales. So all are evolving into positive territory. So therefore, one can look at tire segment rather than other ancillary stocks where the P multiples are extremely stretched.
Okay. So that's as far as Apollo Tyres is concerned. From the auto parts, it's the tire makers that can be looked at the current level as well. Let's look at, some more momentum stocks that are moving up. Okay, let's look at the power makers because this space has been hot and buzzing. We are again seeing, stocks like NTPC, Power Grid come back in action. Coal India, of course, is 3.5% higher in trade. We've seen SJVN, the way it has made a smart rebound in trade today after yesterday's loss and the last 2-3 trading sessions where pressure was there on the upside. What about the power space, Mr. Chokalingam? Anything interesting here that you spot at the current levels?
We initiated Coal India at a very low level, extremely low level. But if anybody is still holding, they may hold on and see how best the rally continues. That is the only stock because still in terms of valuation, it is cheaper than other power stocks. That is the only stock I have studied, and I have not recently updated other power stocks.
What about the Adani Group stocks and stocks like Adani Green Energy, which have come back on Moody's radar? Would you look at these stocks positively?
May not be for fresh investment, but certainly those who are holding it continue to hold on because all the developments are positive, whether it is a global rating agency or from the legal regulators. Definitely, and they've got the skill, they've got the size. I'm sure, they would be able to scale up the business further. So I would suggest hold on all Adani stocks. Maybe if there is any unexpected correction, then one can buy them.
Anything closer to a momentum play is what Mr. Chokalingam avoids like plague. He's only interested in deep value, and he's named 4 stocks for you, Sakshi. Indoco Remedies, then of course Elpro International, there is Nesco from Mumbai, that's into exhibitions, and his favorite being Reliance Industries. So lots of action coming in there. And if Bajaj Auto and Maruti are having a good tango, Sakshi, how can Tata Motors be left behind?
Wow.
919.95 for you, days high, and this is also one of those stocks that has redefined what a commercial vehicle player can do. Lots of good moves coming in there. There's no stopping Apollo Hospitals. 6,785. Mr. Chokolingam, the entire hospital space is moving into a higher orbit at record highs. You see on Narayan Hirdale, on Medant, on Apollo, as also a host of smaller regional players within the hospital space. How are you analyzing this sector, and would you have a favorite here?
No, I used to have a favorite stock, but they all multiplied, 200-300%. We booked the profit, but still one can continue to hold on Apollo Hospital for two reasons. One, it has got a stylish leadership, and definitely the institutional players' penetration in the stock would continue. And second, this is the one hospital which is able to attract in a bigger way the foreign the patients, and that keeps growing. So considering these two facts, and also the outlook for rupee, which is not able to appreciate, rather it remains quite weak as compared to what it was 2-3 years, which should be positive for hospital stock like Apollo Hospital. So therefore one can hold on. If there is any significant correction, one can use that opportunity to buy Apollo Hospital.
Okay. Mr. Chokolingam, which one was your favorite Apollo hospital stock which appreciated 2-3 times and then you exited?
Powai Hospital, Powai Medical. Powai Medical.
Powai Medical hai?
Yeah, Coimbatore based hospital.
Yes,
company.
of course.
Powai Medical.
This is the only hospital stock.
Yeah, so our
Yes.
original initiation was,
Yes,
my memory is right.
this is the only hospital chain in India which has a medical college in it.
Yeah, so we initiated below 1,000 rupees quite some time ago. And of course, if somebody is holding, they can hold on. It's a great stock.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we draw to a close on this session. Let's just start wrapping up the market. It's been a wonderful, wonderful day for all the main indices, especially the Bank Nifty, which was on a weekly expiry today. The index are now closing smartly 400 points higher, somewhere in the vicinity of 45,900. Remember, this is the close. The intraday move from the low and the high was phenomenal, 1,400 points. So that has to be appreciated. The Nifty at about 21,850 has added about 108 points to its tally, but that's not the entire story. The point is that it was at a low of 21,540 in the morning, a gap down followed by further sales, and from then on it's appreciated. Tomorrow is the weekly expiry of the Nifty, and we expect this kind of short covering to continue. The most important theme, the PSU basket, has shown a dramatic turnaround in sentiment. There are stocks that have moved from lower circuit to upper circuit, such as IRDA, as also you have enthusiasm coming back in SGVN, in NHPC, in HUDCO, in all the three oil refineries, which is BPCL, HPCL, IOC, Oil India, NTPC. The list is endless. We track 78 stocks within the FNO, within the PSU space. Let me just give you this data. Only 5 Sakshi are in the red, and those losses are almost negligible on 3, and 2 or 3 stocks which are still down. NFL down 2%, IFCI, which was down at circuit 5 below, is now just 3.5% lower. The point I'm trying to make is that repair of sentiment, repair of damage in terms of price is on way, and there is strength in terms of volume, in terms of price, and in terms of delivery, which we will check beyond 6 p.m. today. Both the Nifty and the Bank Nifty are trying to close at the day's high, and that points to a very, very strong sentiment for tomorrow as well. The only point of concern is HDFC Bank, very, very heavy selling pressure accompanied by a drop in price. So the FII number for today would be very, very high in terms of sales. That is the pain point. But record high on Maruti, record high on Bajaj Auto, record high on Apollo Hospitals within the Nifty, and the trend, Sakshi, is improving for the better. The PSU banking basket is taking it away.
Recording in progress.
In the green, and the index at about 3% higher is the top performer, Sakshi.
Absolutely. With that, thanks a lot, Mr. Chokalingam, for being with us onto this special edition and sharing with us all those insights. We will wrap up the markets now. The Nifty ending about 0.5% high in trade at 21,850, and the Sensex up by 0.4%, 71,852. You also have the Nifty Mid Cap Index that's up by about 1% or so in trade. Even the small caps have inched higher in trade at this point in time. It's the Nifty Bank that's almost 0.9% higher in trade. That's a major contributor, of course. Within it, like Shell pointed out, it's the PSU banks that have led the show. The autos ending up 1.7% higher, FMCG up by 0.9% up in trade as well. And you know, all the sectors are doing well. PSU banks, oil and gas, metals, autos, small caps, realty space, all of them up by over 1.5% each. Mid caps also, the Nifty Bank I already pointed out is the financial services, consumer durables, also about 0.5% higher in trade, barring the IT pack. That's the one that's ending weak, about 1% or so, and barring the healthcare pack, that's ending about 0.8% or low. But you know, all the other sectors, they're up in trade, in you know, and a very, very strong momentum being seen across the board. The PSU stocks, HPCL, BPCL, Oil India, IOC, BHEL, Steel Authority, NHPC, REC, NMDC. These are the stocks that really made strong gallops today, about 4% to almost 9% higher in trade. The movers on the Nifty included names like BPCL, State Bank, ONGC, Coal India, Bajaj Auto, Tata Steel, Axis Bank. On the downside, you had stocks like TechM, Cipla, Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy. So the pharma counters dragging. TCS, LTI, Mindtree also, along with HDFC Bank. These were the big drags. F&O space was led by Nalco. HPCL followed, BPCL also, Z Entertainment. You had Abbott and you had IOC. These were the top stocks in the F&O basket. Well, with that, we wrap up our special trading session. But do stay tuned on to Business Today television as action continues on the other side from the world of business and stock markets. Until then, it's goodbye from us for today, from Shell and me. But we will be back tomorrow with Market Today.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
Celebrate 32 years of leadership in business news with Business Today. From the groundbreaking AI cover of Sundar Pichai to PM Modi's exclusive on G20, we redefine headlines. Now our 32nd anniversary issue explores India 2029, the 5-year agenda, with industry titans sharing exclusive insights. So, just BT it for unparalleled perspectives. Business Today, 32 years of leadership, innovation, and business brilliance. Subscribe now.